Good morning, everybody. What's going on out there this morning, right in TikTok land? How we doing this morning? We hope y'all are having a powerful and impactful start to your Thursday morning here, December the 4th, 2025. And welcome in to another episode of A Different View. A different view family here who we believe in this thing, right? Who seek, hunger, thirst, search for that which is a different view family. Welcome in. Just recently, I had the question asked of me, man, how many books, KJ, do you go through in a year, right? And what I will tell y'all, family, is that as of this year, right? Because your boy used to do a lot of reading. Again, there was one part in my life, and we're just gonna be blunt about it, right? Again, some people can look on my Facebook profile, and I don't hide from it. And the group that I went through this, if we're gonna go back and forth, I want to be very clear. If we want to go back and forth and make a certain thing, because they're good at certain people, family. Unfortunately, as we get started here, we're gonna be talking about the 12 universal laws. We're gonna continue on in this book, right? We had to take some pauses to talk about certain things that have gone on, whether it's been movie reviews like Wicked for Good, or whether it be The Running Man, and even most recently, Zootopia 2. Family, if we don't get it down in our heart, mind, and spirit that we can do this thing together, we are going to fall separated. Can we just be honest in saying that? People groups are okay banding together. I got to keep repeating this because we started off this podcast saying this. It was just a thing that came to my heart. I didn't even know it was a phrase in life. Somebody had dropped it on your boy a while ago and told me that it was a thing. But this is it, family, is that repetition is necessary for learning. We hate our body types because someone repeatedly told us that you must look a certain way in order to be successful in this life. That was repeated. For all of our Instagram photo fillers, Snapchat, photo filter type of just all of us taking these pictures of ourselves, which is nothing is wrong with that per se, unless you just get hooked on that, like you become consumed with it and then become addicted to people because of it, right? But the ability to do all that, you learn that through repetition. So family, we're letting you know over here, you must be careful of the do nothing, know nothing Negroes in life. You have to be I don't care whether you're 6 years old. It's weird. It's like we stopped right after we left high school, family, of educating ourselves and the youth on what's going on in the game today. I don't know how that works, but this time of the holiday season is to do something by which we call certain people groups on these lands savages. Family, people still believe that mess to this day. Why? Off of repetition, not because they are. If somebody come knocking down your door, family, you're going to defend yourself. Come on now, somebody, right? That is exactly what happened on these lands. They weren't savages. They were operating in defense. It's an old, tired excuse that Massa likes using just to make sure they can keep bumping you over the head a little bit. Just a little bit more every day. Okay? Family, understand, right, that we have to be okay defending, protecting, and even intertwined with all that, right? At the foundation of that is supporting ourselves, different people groups, different types. So when you have somebody from the University of Oklahoma do their best soapbox dance, you know the soapbox salsa, family. We just doing our best Congo line around constantly saying that the transgender person is demonic. And then on top of that, what you would do is make a case when they let you know that you did not answer the source material. You would then make a case for that teacher to be put on administrative leave. Not the ones, listen now, not in the same state where a grown, we like playing with the kids a little too much, right, family? We shift they call it goalpost moving. I don't like a lot of these phrases because I like speaking in plain language. We just like flip-flopping around the language we like to say to fit whatever we want. And normally, come on now, somebody. Normally when that happens, that's not just so you can live your life. That's so you can hurt people. I'm a wrestling fan. Shout out to Hurt Syndicate one time. And the tagline, the hook, right? The chorus, however you want to say it as far as singing goes. I know some people don't like that, so we had to change chorus to hook. But in the hook is we hurt people, right? Family, that's what we become addicted to, is just hurting each other. Don't you know half of those conversations you had around, more than half? Well, we'll say half just to be objective. Maybe half of them weren't. The other half were. You probably have variations in the middle, right? This is just how the law of averages works. However, right? We've seen some of them on TikTok. Right? People just acting a fool, family, but see, this is what's in people. This is what's in people. So it just comes out. See, again, what you saw probably during the Friday after Thanksgiving, when Massa got to make his money, Massa got to make his or her money off your account, off your paycheck under the guise of the spirit of giving, right? Again, Massa got to make his money off your paycheck under the guise of the spirit of giving, because they can't give you no sales. Family, come on, somebody. They can't give you no sales except for right then and then. Right then and there. We have to start recognizing the play of the hustler in the group, family. That's all. We're okay getting tricked, swindled, hoodwinked, right? Come on, somebody. Some of these old school words we used to use for the hustler in the group, family. This ain't cool. If we're chasing the bag and we're okay, I know we flip it around and be like, well, if you stupid, you stupid. No. We got people that are okay taking advantage of our naivete, family. That's not right. So that means you're going to have to stand on your square. You're going to have to get wise to what is going on in life and just letting people know, hey, man, this is all well and good for you. I don't get down. We don't get down, like and share this as we go along. Matter of fact, we're going to pause here 2 seconds just to share this. Share the good word. You're going to share that. And we're back. I just wanted to take the time to share that good message, family, right? Again, this is good news. The gospel, family, that word means good news. Okay? What is the good news? That you don't have to be dumb to these hustlers and these swindlers and these tricksters out here. Right? I don't care whether they be Asian, whether they be native. We're talking tricksters now. Right? It don't matter what they look like. Big Mama done already told us that all skin folk ain't kinfolk. With that, let's get into this, right? Because we ain't gonna take too much of your time today, man. We're talking about, like just certain things like this, right? Just recently, right? And shout out to you, sis. We got to say this because this is something that's just as recently is on TikTok that people have a problem with it. Family, can we say one thing right now? We're talking about real harm to people while the Epstein files just got released, right? And, we think we won one. Family, by the time Massa put something on and don't get me wrong, listen, before people start losing their mind, because they're going to lose their mind as soon as I said that. Okay? Listen to the gravity of the situation. Nobody is saying that we as a people don't need to speak up, because we do. Nobody is saying that we as a people don't need to speak out against wrong and injustice, no matter where it is. As it has been said around the Black community, an injustice to one people group here is an injustice or an attack on justice anywhere, right? So we're not saying you don't stand up for yourself. We're just letting you know how Massa plays this game. We do not understand the rules to how they ain't going to tell you, because the idea is for them to win, not you. And as a result, right, we must be constantly thinking about innovation. We have to start thinking about how we can band together, which is why one of the biggest places where you start breaking down those walls is where it comes to the people groups. Another thing that we were probably arguing about over the Thanksgiving Day table this year. You know, not anything about how to band together and build black distribution centers and black manufacturing plants. Nope. We're going to talk about why the black man and woman can't be married to a Mexican. We're going to sit there and start talking about why the black man and woman can't be married to an Asian. Family, since the United States wants to make a certain, we're just saying what it is, okay? Because again, if you go back, we talked about this before. How many books has your boy been reading? This year has been a reconnection with books. Right? Whether it's online digi, whether it's reading it physically, whether it's listening to an audiobook. See, I'm just done on listening. Whatever you hearing today, family, has already been done, right? Whether you're talking about experiments and all this stuff, which is why the Campbells go, oh, it was a secret recording. Listen. Whatever is done in secret come out in the open, family, don't it? So if you thought you made Campbell's soup, or at some point Campbell's soups then turned into 3D printed chicken or carrots or whatever in that good soup, you know? If you thought it wouldn't come out, family, this ain't the time to go firing nobody because they quote unquote whistle blew on you. It's time to get your greedy filled, disrespectful. Lord help me to say it today, man. You can get gone. See, they like doing this thing. Well, you could just go back to your country. No, you can take your greed filled, overly biased, bigotry filled, right? Type of no loving ass on. Y'all can go. See, and this is the back and forth that happens, right? Like I was just looking at the thing right before we hopped on the live today. This is in the black community. Don't you know that Carter G. Woodson talked about this years ago in the 20s, how we act as black folks with our own businesses? And you got the sister with the blonde hair. We ain't dissing sisters who change up their, again, for as many times as we talked about it, it's new to TikTok. It's not new to Spotify, right? It's not new to Pandora. It's not new to Apple. Speaking of which, you can find the platform, right? Pandora, Apple, and Spotify, all named a different view. On TikTok, of course, these lives come from KJ's clock, right? This is my profile. Right on YouTube, it is at a different view 80. And again, we have all seen we're going to have a special one on Spotify for the increase in the viewership for the, Spotify like to come out with that warped and wrapped, and they give you the little stuff. So we're just gonna have a time of edification, as they say, right? Talking about how the viewer makes this thing go. Family, if you want to see certain things in life, don't you know? We joke on these folks that, make America great again. And I don't even like saying MAGA. I like saying the actual phrase, because what you're saying that made these lands great isn't what made it great. Was before Europe came calling. What made it great is when tribal groups stopped fighting together and band together, because that at some point Europe is gonna come calling, family. That's the point. Again, this is all wrapped around the 12 universal laws. The two we're going to get in today is number 8 and 9 out of the book, The 12 Universal Laws, from Manhardeep Singh. Right? Which the first one, we're just going to segue in because it's just a good segue. We're just going to go with it, right? Number 8 is the law of perpetual transmutation. Big old, matter of fact, let's do it. The law of perpetual transmutation of energy. Okay, KJ, what in the hell is what is transmutation, bro? What do you say? Yo, what is transmutation? We know we just finished talking about an Oklahoma University student who has a problem with transgender folks. No, we're just saying what we believe, KJ. As a Christian, can we let it go, family? I'm saying it personally. When do we as a Christian let it go? When do we continue to just only go to the part of the Bible that is okay, taking black lands from folks and always talking down about people? When do we, under the guise of worshiping Jesus, when do we let that go? Do we let that go? Is there anything else in that book that we could possibly go towards other than that and still secure our salvation, family? I have questions. They tell you it's right to question things, right? It's time. What are we doing? Transmutation. Let's just keep on down the road here, right? We talking. What is transmutations? Definition: the act of changing the state. The act of changing. This is coming from Oxford's dictionary. Again, you speak in Massa ease, right? I know we don't say that. We say English. Right? You say Chinese or Japanese. you know Sinhalese, right? If you in Senegal, right? We speak in Massaese over here, okay? This is an equivocal language where they put multiple different words and meanings to everything and all. So you got to go back to the basis. We started off the podcast with this. We're going to continue with it. Again, repetition is necessary for learning. You got to go back to the words and phrases of what they're using. Go back to the archaic way they talked. I know, right? We living in 2025, about ready for 2026. We don't know nothing about 17 something, huh? We don't know nothing about the 1480s. We have no idea. And that's where their mess is. So you can then get tripped up on a president being okay, supporting folks taking a car in Charleston, Virginia. Back in the day, right? Do we remember that, family? And just hurting people unnecessarily with their vehicle. And no, we don't blame this on one person because this messes in the mind of people already. We already know that, don't we? Yeah, you can have people accentuate or not on anything, but we already know that this is what's going on, right? The action of changing or the state of being changed into another form. Okay. So when you talk this again, this is another thing on this Google searching and research and all that kind of thing. Family, if you're going to allow that to stop you from learning, I don't know what to tell you. If you're telling me that the beginning stage can't be the beginning stage, we are missing the point. Right? Start looking up this information. It's at the palm of your hands. Yes, go into your library and get books. Nobody is telling you not to read. Matter of fact, you can look up right, with your phone, right, find out the information that then go take you to a library. The physical effects. Let's just, come on. I don't have time, family. Like a lot of people on here, again, we're talking about the hustlers and the tricksters and all this. We don't have time for that. What are the healthy, this is just the healthy benefits to reading? That this is all you have to do. You could probably say physical reading, all that. I don't care that AI is involved in this, none of that, right? All of that is mess that humans make to make their lives easier. When life is already easy, we make it complicated, right? Anyway, again, we don't need GMO made foods, family. We got into this conversation a while ago, so we're just gonna say it on the table just for everybody to understand. Again, like and share this thing, family, because we're gonna go down the road for a little bit. A lot of people like to say you're going down the rabbit hole, family. The rabbit hole is a person's home, so we're just visiting. We just visiting the house right now. We made a house call. Shout out to Swerve Strickland back in AEW, man. Not laughter. We didn't want to laugh. We wanted to do this. Shout out to Swerve Strickland coming back, family, to AEW, man. We talking the first black AEW world champion. While we take the pause talking about this with reading, along the path of talking about transmutated energy, understand this, that wrestling, family, is using the black image to make money. Say it with your big boy voice. That's just what it is. And because we refuse to make our own leagues on anything, whether it, again, baseball went away, unfortunately, right? Football, we just finished. Well, I didn't mention it here on yet, but there's stuff you can look up on hockey for folks who sit there and they talk this mess about hockey, like black folks can't skate. Of course we can. You know, the whole thing with black folks don't swim. Of course we can. You're living under the deception you can't, so you don't. That doesn't mean you can't. Right? Dancing, we see it all the time. I just finished seeing this season of Dancing with the Stars, right? Which is pretty cool. Again, I lost a bet to my wife. I thought I thought who was gonna win didn't, and I was wrong. So shout out to you, honey, one time. She got the person right who won, right? You know, shout out to Jordan Childs, man. By the way, we're gonna see the Winter Olympics. Another good time for the world's problems to be put on the grand stage so that we cannot deny anymore the sickness that went on around the world, that goes on around this world. Which is why it's real easy. But listen, I'm from New York one time, but it's real easy for our New York brothers and sisters to lose their mind on Mr. Mamdani being in a government seat in New York, right? Again, shout out to the brown seed, as it is said in certain circles, for obtaining a seat of government in Master's system. You got to get, and we'll let Snoopy play in the background here for a minute. Just let your boy collect his thoughts. People have a problem when the brown man and woman, when the dark skin tone man and woman, when the tan skin tone man and woman has a place of power. You have a problem with it. Because again, we have bought into, through repetition, this kind of mess that it can only be a certain group of people. Who is telling you that? And in most of the time, right about this time when we bring out this kind of truth, the next turtle shell place you go in your mind to escape that reality is, oh, well, you know, this, that, and the other about the policies they have and all that. You in Massa's system, family, all of it is screwed. Again, just give credit to where it's due and keep it moving. But folks cannot do that because they have been hoodwinked, swindled, hustled by the trickster. By a lot of tricksters, actually. Right? Readings benefits. Stress reduction. So if you're overstressed, family, start reading. Get a book, few pages, don't matter what it is, start reading it. Matter of fact, start reading one about stress reduction. Hey, we're not making fun of nobody, family. We're saying what it is. We're laughing at the irony of how simple a lot of this is, right? Your mind. As a person thinketh in their heart, so are they. So as much as we talk about self-love, family, start loving your mind. Yeah, no, I know that don't look real good. This is not knocking twerking. Okay, so don't take this. This don't do real good in the circles of the ass shakers out there, right? This don't do real good in the you know, and don't nobody who's about hustling and, you know, knocking down their grandmama or somebody for some paraphernalia and all that kind of stuff. That don't really help none, right? But when you're talking about things of life and godliness, yeah, that's where this is. That's where this is all day. Family, this is the difference between the broad road and the narrow road. And we're not getting on nobody, damning nobody to hell. You know, a lot of the stuff that Christians like doing all day long. Now, we ain't doing all that. We're just telling you what it is. They look different. Be okay, family, getting yourself, if you get nothing else out of this, man, let this soak inside your psyche one time. Be okay with yourself, number one. Number two, get yourself around people who think like you do. Number three, be willing to listen to those who have an opposite thought process so that not only it challenges what you believe, it strengthens what you believe. Right? Improved sleep. That's another one of these things that reading will do for folks. So find you a good article, you know, even if we're doing the phone thing, find you a good, and we understand the studies with, you know, reading with the phone at night and all that kind of, right before it's time to go to sleep, find you a good article. We're talking about life now, family, right? Don't be reading, no, like, you know, and maybe it's a good recipe or whatever it is. Find you that good article to read, man. It'll help your sleep. Enhance brain functions. For instance, improving concentration and memory. I know for me personally, for the stuff that I go through in my own life, and for those who want to clown and joke, that's at your own, you know what I mean? We do that way too much because we sit in the seat of the in the seat of the scornful. We have to keep making fun of everybody. Scornful is just a word talking about discrediting and all that kind of thing. Family, we ain't got no time for that. Who's got time for that? We still got time for that? No, instead of wasting time clowning on each other and going back to this whole story in this business, right? It's on this TikTok video. This black woman with the blonde hair. Okay. And again, we're not talking about the ability to alter yourself. That's an ability that you got. Okay. For as much as we'll talk about expression of your natural self, you can also alter. That's what you're seeing. Okay. The way we operate with each other in our own businesses is disrespectful, family. Save that mess for the street. Where it's supposed to be, you know, where the so-called white man and women left. You know, when you talk about gang activity and all this hood type of, you know, bully kind of mentality, family, which you can see some of these things in different cultures all over, right? But at the same time, man, when you're talking about the establishment of that mess on these lands, there's a certain people group that was doing that. People groups, right? Let that go and leave that to them. Since we want to talk about everything anti quote unquote white, YT, since we on TikTok. At the end of the day, family, let that go. You let them do that mess and we start learning about how to build up our community again. I don't care whether you're in the ghetto or not, right? Again, and for those joining us, we're talking about the 12 Universal Law. It's a book, commenting on a book called The 12 Universal Laws. We believe that wholeheartedly there are things you can see in this life universally keeping it together and helping it function, that we function in as well as humans. So we just talked about it. We've been on a series about it a little bit with other things that we had to talk about for a while now. So we're just continuing on the road here. We're almost done. Talking about certain things here with enhanced brain function when it comes to reading. People were asking me, hey, how many books? Okay. Probably right now I've piggybacked and picked through maybe 6 solid books this year. Not a full-on read, but enough chapters and certain things. Definitely the Miseducation of the Negro is a full book that I went through this year. And what an eye-opener that book is, man. You talk about stuff at the foundation of Black culture. That eye-opening look from Carter G. Woodson, truly the father of Black history, family. Man, listen. We will always be some fool-headed Negroes going our own business. You act so nice and so cute, whether it be in white businesses. Not to say you don't give stuff there, but we're talking about the majority of the foolishness. You go up in your own brother's sister's business, as hard as it is, acting a complete jackass. Complete. And then we wonder why things are the way they are. We're not okay supporting each other. Shout out to Squid Kid 1111 one time. May her name ring true right up there with Breonna Taylor. Come on, somebody. We're doing harm toward each other. Trayvon Martin, Eric Gardner. Every black person that has lost their life unnecessarily off the basis of this sick-filled system. Now black boys and girls cannot cosplay, family. Is that what we're doing? To the point. Look, for the Christian who wants to talk to transgender teachers in colleges about how demonic transgender folks are, could you please save part of the conversation for how demonic it is that we tell each other who we can and cannot be? Could you do that, please? Just to keep it a balanced conversation. If you really believe that, make sure you say the same demonic thing about racism, but we already know how the AME church started. You see what I'm saying? We already know about how Pentecostal churches have started. It is based in racism, but you don't want to say it because you're trying to keep some weird, holy-filled narrative here. This is why by the time Jesus came on the scene, he had nothing but heat. Nothing but, it was in love, nothing but heat for these holy folks, family. It's mess. It's nothing but a bunch of mess. And for those who don't believe in God and all that kind of thing, you want to go down that road, it's your business. But we talking about the part over here where we can see something clear as day under the surface. And at the end of the day, there's most holy and noble people trying to piggyback off it to hurt folks. That's where I choose to stay. For me to sit there and constantly keep trying to disprove a thing to get people to do the right thing is a waste of time. When all people have to do is just do the right thing, and it's got nothing to do with what you believe in, because you can choose to look at the other parts of the Bible that tell you to do the right thing. You don't want to look at that. Family, we don't want to look at that. Let's just be honest. It's much easier to go up in somebody's business as black folks right after you done on Sunday running around that church and Jesus help me and Holy Spirit walk with me and all the stuff we do, than to go up in a business and cuss them out. You can find the video online. I reposted it on my page. So y'all go look at my repost. You'll see it. It'll be like one of the first two. Just acting a fool. Just same thing with Stephen A. Smith, man. I'm gonna go there, brother. You got a problem with it. It's your business. This is my response to it. At the end of the day, if you gonna we trying to post up in massive systems. So brother now having issues that he's explained between him and ESPN or whatever's gone sideways. Now all of a sudden you got some like political program out here. Like, what is you trying to do, bro? We done looked at every time that the Negro has gotten involved in this system, many times how it goes. It either goes to your enslavement or it goes to your enslavement. You either going to find success by you putting on massa, right? And by you big up in massa and making them look good, which is for your enslavement. Or in you trying to do the thing, they're not going to let you get up there because they don't want you there, which is part of your enslavement. And we like to get away from it mentally. We like to escape talking about, oh, well, these laws have been abolished and blah. No, family. It's this, it's just a person with, we'll say it this way, right? Because I could say it another way, right? But, sometimes we find ways to just we make fun of too many people. So we're going to leave this one alone. This is not talking on comedy for folks that get crazy about comedy. There are things we can laugh at. We just laughing at too much. And it's hard to admit, right? We make it hard to admit. So it's just another person with a different outfit on. Same person though. So the same jackass you know in your family, in your community, whatever family, right? They got this outfit on Sunday. They're going to wear a different one on Wednesday, but it's the same jackass. That's where we at. I mean, that's just where we at. Let's do this here so we can be done and go on. Your boy been talking for a minute, man. Let's just finish this and go on. So, transmutation, things change. Okay, things change. For as much as they stay the same, huh? Ain't that what the phrase say? For as many things change, they stay the same. Yeah. Okay. Energy is always moving. This is on page 49 of this book, and always changing. This is one of my favorites when I'm feeling especially stuck. The writer goes on to say, thus far, we've talked about the importance of energy and maintaining a high vibration. That's what all the other laws have been. That's just, real quick. I don't, because again, we've been talking for a minute. Hey, TikTok, while we do a lot of things with this AI counter and all this thing, can you have something here that has like a time counter, right? Because people go on and on and on talking. It would be nice to know how long. I guess I got to look at my clock or whatever. Maybe you could put a little counter in there. Anyway, maybe they put that in the algorithm. So 1 is divine oneness. Again, we're all connected divinely. Again, as a Christian, we know from the Creator we're connected. But again, I digress. We'll continue on. 2 is dealing with the law of vibration, I believe. Let me just make sure here. Got my computer acting a little wonky. The law of vibration. Again, because things got a vibration, you can feel it. Never mind. We're going to leave it alone. Some people don't want to believe it. Others do. The next one is the law of attraction. Without a question, things get attracted to us, family, because we put out a certain vibration, because we're all connected. And that thing has highs and lows, because there's positives and negatives, which we're going to get into that law here in a second. Because there are positives and negatives, you are going to find, you will attract, unfortunately, the asshole in your life. You got to be good, though, at telling them to kick rocks, right? Just like you got to be good at allowing people to come in. I digress. That's number 3, the law of attraction. Number 4, the law of correspondence. Again, because you have opposite things, as above, so below. And attraction is there working. Again, you're gonna get that good jackass come in your life. You have got, and it's gonna be smooth. See, we got to constantly keep ourselves around the environment, and we're gonna make mistakes from time to time, family. Okay, but see, again, there's certain excuses that we use, certain things we have to identify, but certain excuses we use to stay stuck. I do it. We all do it. But you just got to recognize that when the charlatan, when the hustler, when this fool-headed, know nothing, do nothing Negro or Negrette come in your life, and they could be black, they could be Hispanic, they could be whatever culture, color, right? You just got to be okay telling them to kick rocks. Let's continue. Number 5, the law of action. Again, there's something we got to do. We can believe in all this stuff that's happening around us. Eventually, at some point, we got to do it. You can believe in healing. So we're gonna, we'll just take the pivot to do this as far as Christianity is concerned. We can believe in healing and believe that Christ took stripes on our back for our healing. At the end of the day, family, if we don't eat healthy, that ain't gonna work. You cannot pray over the ribs. You can't pray over a diet of ribs soaked in oil and butter and pork belly and all of this mess we go to. Listen, you can make fun of your Muslim brother and sister all day long. There is a thing behind why you don't just make a diet off the pork, family. But again, that would key into us learning the science behind these animals that we're eating, right? Not just mindlessly hunting them. And for those who hunt, y'all can get mad at me. That's okay. Because again, there's intention behind which we are doing this thing. We can't just all game hunt all day long. Could you save some of that for people to eat? Anyway, right? So that's 5, the law of action. Again, our actions, man, and these things equal an opposite reaction. Don't you discredit it. Again, as above, so below. This is correspondence, right? So now this action now, it's got certain ways this works, which is why we need to stop joking on each other all the time. Anyway, we'll leave it alone. Certain folks just want to do what they want to do. The law of cause and effect. We're just talking about it. These energies, this is how it works. Actions of consequences. Like, for instance, me standing up and talking about life here, we already know, again, there's opposite out there. There's certain people who do not give a damn about that. They will attack me and you as a result of it. That is how life on these lands happened, family. That was the energy that was working. Our native brothers and sisters could not see it. Again, our Mexican brothers and sisters could not see it. They didn't see it coming. But we're here today to stand and let you know. In the energy of our ancestors that fell unnecessarily. When you can read stuff, right, in this book, The Great Evil, Christianity, the Bible, and Native American unaliving. Since we're on TikTok, I can't say the actual word that's in the title of this thing. It starts with a G, ends with an E. I'll leave it that way, right? Unaliving of mass groups of people. We'll get a little closer home without saying a word, right? Is where you find quotes that say stuff like this. Ward Churchill in the book, A Little Matter of, again, Unaliving, that starts with a G and ends with an E, describes the bloodlust frenzy, because these people have a bloodlust. On the morning of the 29th, they're talking about, in South Dakota, the Wounded Knee Massacre that happened December 29th, 1980. See, I don't care to know about a lot of the stuff, family, that certain people find trendy. I could care less about that. Wild trends are cool. And again, we've said this about distractions, right? Because again, you look at the word distraction, I don't want to do it for time's sake. Let me just do it. Let me just do it. From Oxford's dictionary, prevent someone from giving full attention to something. To divert one's attention from something worrying or unpleasant. This is one of the sub things here. Again, all coming from Oxford's dictionary. Divert. Again, we know about deflect. We know we got some good deflectors out there. We got some Star Wars Jedi Master type deflectors out there on some of these subjects. You just got that lightsaber and you deflecting a lot of this stuff real good. Right? But again, the ability in the word to distract, to divert one's attention from something worrying or unpleasant by doing something different or more pleasurable. Family, we understand that, right? So when you're seeing it, sports, the NBA, this is why we can say, we can talk about, come on, family. We I've been watching for a long time. I've been paying attention to how the game goes. There's still things that I got to learn, right? But we could talk about like the Bulls all day long, or like the Yankees, or we can make jokes back and forth between the Bulls and the Knicks. I got family who are Knicks fans and stuff. We can do all that. A lot of that mess is just it's when you look into the basis of life. While these things are nice, we just allow our distractions to distract us. Which is why we say it this way on this podcast. Do not allow your distractions to distract you. Get into some of this and know what's going on. We like to make connection points between Adolf Hitler and the way this government is run and all that kind of thing. For that group of people who talks that how we talk about it, right, family? But at the end of the day, that thing starts little by little. Go and read these materials. You hear these different podcasts and stuff dropping this knowledge on you. Go read them. Know this knowledge. Know that in the House of Representatives in the 1800s, we'll go over the document. We'll actually read it to you and give you the document. We'll allow people to scramble here, see if they can find it, and maybe we'll hit it up on the live or on Spotify. So stay tuned, right? But at the House of Representatives in the document in the 1800s, they tell you what the natural Mexican border was that they took away from them, that they blamed the Mexican for. But all this is, like they did our native brothers and sisters, is blame them and call them the savage to make an excuse, to take from them, to unalive them in the most sickening ways. So again, when you read in The Great Evil, on the morning of the 29th from Ward Churchill in his document there that they're retelling you a little matter of, again, I'm not going to say the word, describes the bloodlust frenzy on this morning. The troops, we're talking the 7th Cavalry, the Army family, that we go wild about. Again, it's December 4th. In 3 days, we're going to talk about Pearl Harbor family. But this is what that was the Navy, right? Still part of the U.S. military, the U.S. 7th Cavalry. Unalive more than 300 Lakota people, family. Under some pretense of manifest destiny, don't you lie on daddy? You gonna lie on God so you can just unalive people? So you can take that, which 300 folks, that's one tribe we talking, y'all. Listen, use your best imagination. I know. SpongeBob put us on, but we don't want to listen, man. Use your best imagination, right? Use your best one to just figure out what this looked like, family. The Bible talks about how could the strong man come up in the house. So we re-ask the question, how does the strong man come up in the house, family? You got to be off guard. No more. Right? No more saying what black folks can and can't do, who they can and can't be with. It's just time to love black love, no matter which way it looks, and support black love, no matter which way it looks. Or we can continue to keep doing this weird regulatory type mess to a whole lot more people that we will lose along the way. And I guess y'all will just say that's collateral damage. Who else do we know, family, talks like that? Ain't that massa? The word slave is coming from Slav. That's what they do and did and will do, because it's the characteristics. We talked about this with the word nature, just means the characteristics of a thing. That's the nature or the characteristics of these type of people, which is not everyone. So you're going to have to make the difference. On the morning of the 29th, the troops proceeded to unalive their unarmed prisoners using both rifles and Gatling guns. Y'all can go look up what that looks like, what a Gatling gun looks like. Carefully placed. We like dressing like these old school 1920s kind of, again, mobsters. We're in nothing about being like some, general store owner. We don't dress up like them. We got to put on the mobster suit. Anyway, this is what mobster life looked like. A whole lot of unaliving, division, and destruction. That's what it looks like. Carefully placed on the surrounding hills for the purpose. Again, and for the purpose of exactly what they just finished saying. Unaliving unarmed prisoners. He then goes on to quote, this is coming from Chris Matanupa, again, in this book here that we're reading from, The Great Evil, Christianity, the Bible, and Native American Unaliving. Again, there's another word here that's used for it, but TikTok want to mess with people's language. So it's their platform, right? Ain't none of us come up with one yet. So all witnesses agree that from the, again, he goes on to quote from Ralph Andrus Long Death. All witnesses agree. See, again, it's cool to read Divergent, shout out Divergent, right? It's cool to read The Hunger Games, shout out The Hunger Games. We got another Hunger Games movie coming out. And yes, your boy is hyped for it. Anytime that we can talk about how we are screwed inside a system, meaning to screw us, family, that's what you want to go watch. I am good on the rest of this. See what I'm saying? So like, if you want to know real breakdown and what it looked like, just go back and read these historical documents. You'll have a whole lot of stories to read, man. Real ones, by the way. It won't be science fiction. You won't have to worry about who the empire and the rebels are. You're going to see it in real time. Maybe do it around a bunch of friends so that y'all can share the pain together as you read some of these accounts, right? Because sometimes it's easy to do it together with folks. Book clubs. Anyway, get yourself a good bottle of wine. Hey, I know our Christian brothers and sisters got a problem with alcohol too. We know alcohol, any one of these things, y'all got an issue with it. Unfortunately, again, it's growing up from the ground from the maker, but no. It's got to be. Yeah, we know nothing about how we misuse it. Nothing about that part of it, right? Something can't be a gateway unless the gateway is in you. Never mind, y'all. So we just don't want to hear that part of it. Witnesses agree that from the moment these firearms opened fire, the 7th Cavalry ceased to be a military unit. We got to recognize the difference between the two, family. Anyway, ceased to be a military unit and became we had already read that. We have read this before. This is just reiterating. Became a mass of infuriated men intent on butchery. They left, we're just at the end of the quote here, they left a trail of bodies that extended 2 miles from the camp of women and children. Maybe we just don't want to be better. Maybe that's what it is. We like staying stuck like this. Family, get yourself around people who do not stay stuck like this. When you want wealth and health and all that kind of stuff, it all starts in your mind first. Again, as a person, I know the Bible tell you man, we know there's women here too. We know there's kids here too. So again, we can clearly say as a person, as a human, thinks in their heart. See, when in your heart, in the deepest part of your mind, which is there too, let's stop the hoax. All of these things, get that part, get your mind right. That's how we say it, family, right? And part of it is getting you, get around this information. You want to know how these people will act with you today? You want to know how SNAP benefits could just get taken away like that? Yeah, that happens, family, right? Just a snap of your fingers on some Thanos type stuff, right? That happens when stuff like this happened back then. Because again, ain't nothing new under the sun. That's what we're told, right? Since we're talking about Christians and ORU writers want to talk and do this dance again in this new witch hunt, which is the transgender and homosexual brothers and sisters out there, right? At the end of the day, what will you do? You want to tell God about them at the avoidance of you. That's what Adam did. This is how we got to this mess. We're just taking the story at its. I know there's like a conscious group of people and everything that they kind of get a little further into it. We get it. We're just talking about this to establish this thought here of the duck and dodge we like doing. So we just finished talking about in 1890. You can go backwards here. This is between pages 126, 128 out of the book, The Great Evil, Christianity, the Bible, and Native American Unaliving. Right? Again, there's another word here, but TikTok wants to control language. Notice the statement, whatever excuse they're going to use for why, it doesn't, this is how you control language, okay? Note the statement, they were all women and children. He's going back talking about what we just finished reading a little further. This harkens back to the Pequot Holocaust of 1637. Which, while we're talking about that, I just want to drop this little jewel. There's a little gem, little jewel on y'all. Who knew? This is an article you can find called the News from New England, 1676. I know sometimes I'll get excited and I'll mix some dates around. So if y'all ever catch that in some of my lives, just shout it out. Right? We make the corrections. We don't have a problem making corrections, family. And when we're a people who cannot be corrected, it's dangerous. Okay. News from New England, 1676, on page 20. So this is right around the time of the King Philip's War. And I thank God I found out this information. I really do. Again, the Bible tells you that you're in the world, And we like to disassociate. Lord, we some good disassociators. We some good disassociators, family, okay? We've been trained well in the dark side of the force to be very disassociative when it comes to our brothers and sisters' pain. We are. Page 20, again, from the news from New England. So y'all know where the New England area is, right? Right? Some places call it the tri-state area, again, where I'm from. So like you got New York, Connecticut, right? Rhode Island, Delaware. Come on now, somebody. There's New England over there. New England. Notice they call it. Anyway. This Europe 2.0 over here. Anyway, I digress. Notwithstanding, the surviving, looks like Skims, were not long in revenging his death, for on the 6th of May, May 6th, they burnt all, hold on, TikTok giving me this, you've been on for a minute, fix the puzzle and all this kind of stuff here, so we do that. That's just a way to come into the close here. So, burnt all Marlboro except 3 Garifin Hughes. This is a lot of weird writing. Killed unalived Captain Jacob Fun and Lieutenant Pratt, and 2 days after burnt 24 Alfs in Salisbury. They're speaking in their language, so it's a little weird. My apologies. In Southbury, unalived feverel of the inhabitants who vainly expected Captain Wedworth and Captain Brookwell to their relief, for their unfortunate gentlemen, watch this now, who were intercepted by 700 Moors, with whom they fought for the space of 4 hours, till not only they two, but Captain Sharp and 51 Christians lay, or Criftons, they've got it, I'm assuming maybe that's their word for Christians, lay unalived upon the place. 700 Moors was over here in New England? I didn't think there was anybody over here in 1776, KJ. Excuse me, 1676. 700? And we're just gonna leave the responses to some people who will comment on this. I just want to see just for the fun of it, because I kind of know where most folks are gonna go with this. Family, we want to say it unequivocally that these people groups are already here, right? Like all over the planet. The Greeks were already over in Greece. The Italians were already over in Italy. The French were already over in France. The Russian was there in Russia. Japanese were there in Japan. The Chinese were there in China. So on and so forth. Again, since we like going to verses that help us be mean boys and mean girls as Christians, family, you are told in Acts that from one blood, God created all the people groups that live down here on this earth. You look it up. We don't want to go to those verses. We don't want to see that light. We just want to find a way to keep being mean boys and girls to each other. Don't worry about your brother and sister lightening their hair or changing this, that, and the other. Again, it's one thing to do something harmful. It's another thing just to change up. Right. It took 4 hours and a whole lot of division, destruction, and unaliving. But at the end of it, family, Moors were there. The word Moor, good old Shakespeare. We're talking now 1600s, right? Again, when was Shakespeare born? We're talking 1564, right? He died in 1616. 1564. His art imitates life. His plays and stuff are part of the basis for all this stuff. How did Shakespeare, we're talking about the group who came over here, family. This is the stuff that influenced them. For some of us in the camp, it might be Dr. Henry Clark. It might be Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. We're talking about with black folks, right? For certain Hispanic groups, it may be different people, right? Celia, I want to say her name comes to mind. We're talking about an artist here. Goodness, I cannot remember. And my apologies on this, man. Let me do it this way. We can do it a different way real quick. Your boy likes to keep a lot of stuff on tap just for the purposes of things like this. So we just want to find, because again, we like listening to a lot of music, but there are a lot of music that I'm also just learning as I go along here. So let me just find this real quick. Pardon me 1 second. I wish I could Celia Cruz. There you go. So my apologies, family, right? Different people affect different folks in different places. But as Shakespeare used to talk, family, right? He used more for black folks. Again, all you got to do, basic search. Shakespeare using the word more for Negro. William Shakespeare believed that, again, this just comes right back up in your phone. Now, we've got a source here that we found that says this kind of thing here. William Shakespeare believed that Moors belonged to the black race and used the word Negro as synonym for Moor and vice versa. Right? The book or the document or the book, however you want to look at it, Ancient and Modern Britons, spelled Britons, a retrospect by David McRitchie. And if y'all hear anything in the background, it's a plane going over. On page 46. Now when Claudian wrote, and for a long time after, Moorish signified a great deal more than a native of Mauritania. Mauritania is up there in Africa, family, right? It's on the west side, right? It's on the northwest side of Africa, okay? Kind of like you got Washington and Oregon, right? All that up here in the States, over on North America. Or it may be correct to say that Mauritania implied as much, though in a different quarter, as Scythia did. Sorry, we got another plane going over here. Apologies. I guess they practicing, they flying or whatever it is. Any Latin dictionary, any Latin dictionary, any old one at least, will tell you that Moris is a Moor, a Blackamoor, or a Tawny Moor. We had spoken on Tawny before because old Ben Franklin used to call folks that were, as we say, the tan skin tone people, Tawny. That was an old word they used back then. Again, we're talking back in the 1600s, family. This is how they talk to you today is based off the foundation of how they talk to you back then. Just different words, same meanings. Okay, they switch it up a little bit, but it's the same thing. And Shakespeare, this document goes on to say, Shakespeare used the word Moor as a synonym for Negro, as that last word bears nowadays a somewhat restricted meaning. It may be better to take the old-fashioned Blackamoor as the nearest English rendering of Maurus. Again, when you look at the Mauritanian people, it's Northwest Africa. All they did was switch out, because again, speaking on folks, this is how they talked on our people, family. They've been switching up names and all these things to say that let's just right. So again, let's reread it. As that last word bears nowadays a somewhat restricted meaning, it may be better to take the old-fashioned Blackamoor as the nearest English rendering of Maurus, signifying thereby any black, So it started off with a certain group of people. And then they turned it to signify any black or brown skinned man. Pause. We're going to leave it there for y'all, family. Again, right? The Thanksgiving Day parades and all this stuff we do, which I thought was cool this year. It was nice to see in New York our native brothers and sisters dancing that dance right in the middle of New York City, family. Lord knows the lie Master has told us, man. This land did not belong to who's on it. It was stolen from those already here. And it's time for us to pay it forward, family. Live in love, live in life, live in respect of each other. Because if we don't, we are just going to continue this same sick cycle, right? One that myself am over. All right, so that's what we got for y'all today, family. Again, perpetual energy. Things change, family, and we have the power that we've been given the power to change them. It depends on the intention in which we want to do a thing, right? Again, because these things are connected. They have certain drives and certain functions to them. Perpetual energy. If I was going to do this in closing, the last part of this, as we were just reading from some of these documents, again, cause and effect, I had stopped there. Number 7, again, we're talking from the book, the 12 Universal Laws by Manhardeep Singh. Number 7 is the law of compensation, family. You, again, 30, 60, and some hundredfold is how this is spoken of in the Bible. And that's a thing. Because each thing has its own kind of deal. We're just saying what it is. You don't got to buy into it. But saying what it is. It's still happening whether we buy into it or not. Excuse me. The law of compensation. We are rewarded for the actions we do. So if we want to go up in these hoods, brothers, and constantly be, again, we can talk about how promiscuous the woman is all day long. There ain't no tractor beam vacuum, again, unless that's what you're attracted to. So maybe you need to stop talking about how much she is and maybe how much you are. Maybe we start talking about how much we are, family, and then we can find some healing, right? The law of compensation, again, we have been on in speaking about the law of perpetual energy, perpetual transmutation of energy. Again, energy changes. Okay? Energy changes, it takes different forms. For as much as it stays the same, things change, right? Or as we say it the other way around, for as much as things change, they stay the same. We'll end off here on number 9. Little quote here from Viktor Frankl, right here in this book. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. Okay, this is big boy stuff. I'm off, family. What we, it's cool to live from weekend to weekend, from house party to house party. Shout out Kid and Play one time. But at some point, family, there's just a thing where you come up a little bit. There's nothing wrong with having, these parties and the alcohol flowing. Somebody got a, little something that they puffing on. Okay, but at the end of the day, there are other higher elements here. Okay, and that's not to say it's fully on the low vibration. I'm not going to do that. I understand people do that, right? But having celebrations is not full on the low vibration. Okay. This life is meant to celebrate just as much as it's meant to live in a non-celebratory mode, right? Another quote here: "This law means that even the smallest action can have a profound effect," because that's true. All these energies are respected one or the other. Like the seed of a mighty tree holds all its promise in its tiny shell. You can see that, right? You got the seeds in your hand. See, again, we just look. That we don't have to do all this weird kind of theorizing. We just look. Like the seed of a mighty tree holds all its promise in a tiny shell, you have the power within you to move mountains. Whatever that mountain is in your life. See, we preach it, but I don't think we believe it. Because we do things opposite to nullify. That's what family, get around from these fool-headed people in your life. They're blocking you. That's not everybody. But at this point, it's time to start recognizing these fools in the neighborhood. You ain't got no more time to be arguing over what the woman doing. As a man, what are we doing as men? What are we doing? And 9 will end, and then, we'll pick up again next time, depending on how things go. The law of relativity. So as much as we talk about the law of attraction, the law of relativity, family, right? We're going to stop there. That's a good place to stop. Family, thank you for walking this road with me. I love y'all, man. God bless y'all. Hey, come on. When we get on the subjects, these are not to be talking down to people, none of that. This is about uplifting each other. This is the only place where we need to be now, because we have been put down too long. And in order to uplift, you just got to recognize where is wrong in your life. And let's band together, hold each other's hands, and get this thing done. Right? Because we can do it. And enter in another age in life, man. And we see where things go from there. Right? Family, thank you for walking this road with me. And as always, and until next time, look to find the beauty in a different view.